My video went viral in 2009. This is a little doll of me. These are compilation CDs that I had a song on each one. The first time I ever sang in my life was in a booth. My name is Becky Flint. When I was 13, my YouTube videos went viral in Japan. I had a short career as an idol while still going to school in the UK. Today, I'm going to talk you through some of my memorabilia, my favorite bits from my time out there.
DEEP Xtra.
I guess I'll start from like the beginning. So when I went viral in Japan, I danced to this song called Danjo, which was by an artist called Taro. It was already quite a famous song. There was a little dance routine that went with it that I think fans had created. I don't think it was even official. When I went to Japan for the first time, because my video dancing to this song went viral, I got to meet the artist, Taro, and he signed this CD for me. And it even has a date on it. It is the 28th of August, 2009. So
what year was it that you went viral for your dance?
So I started YouTube in 2007. My channel started in 2007. My video went viral in 2009. So I'd been posting like all sorts of like little videos for like 2 years.
And where did you grow up, sorry?
I grew up on the Isle of Man.
How were you coming across Japanese pop content?
Oh, that's such a good question. I wish I had it here, but essentially what had happened was I went to the bookstore and I was like, I need to find a new book, and just couldn't find anything. And then I came across this section which was like graphic novels, and I was like, what on earth is this? I found this manga book, which I'd never even had any exposure to like Japanese pop culture or manga or anime or anything like that, but I found this book called Fruits Basket. I read it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then through that, I just was like looking up online, trying to find out a little bit more about it. I then found like anime through that, and then I found J-pop through that, because all of the intro music was to like Japanese pop music. A lot of it had these little dances with it, and that's just kind of what sparked my interest, really, was just like learning more about Japan through like pop culture. Living on the Isle of Man is quite a small place. There's only like 80,000 people that live there. So I didn't really have that much to do. So the internet was really a great way to like just broaden my like knowledge of like what's out there. I'd never even been to a city by that point, just stayed on my little island. Also really at the beginning, I suppose, I could show you my DVD. This is called, this is Becky Cruel, and it is a dance DVD. We recorded this in 2009 as well, in a very, very hot August summer in Japan. If you've ever been to a Japanese summer, you'll know it's not for the week. It's very, very hot. And we did all sorts of like, photo shoots, like recordings. I recorded my own version of that song Danjo as well. And then I recorded my own dance to it, but like with big cameras. So this was not just like, MacBook kind of business on my webcam. This was like proper. I worked with a choreographer, which is also great. We did like other songs, like original dances to other songs. And yeah, it was such a fun experience. It was honestly so amazing. So yeah, that's my DVD.
For anyone who doesn't know who you are, you've just introduced yourself as Becky Flint. So who is Becky Cruel?
It's such a good question. So obviously my name is Rebecca, but I was going online with like as Becky, and also Becky with, not with a Y, but with 2 I's. Like I really had that like, 12-year-old energy to like make myself stand out and be quite different. When I was, becoming like more popular in Japan, my videos were going viral. They were like, who is this? And I was like, I'm Becky. There is already a really famous like talent in Japan, especially at that time, called Beckii. And she spells it like in Japanese, when you spell Becky, it's written like this. And so even if in English I spell it with 2 I's, doesn't make a difference. It's written like phonetically, so it's like this. And that's exactly how she spells her name. So I couldn't have just one word, Becky. The talent agency that I had signed with was called it was called Life is So Cruel. And they would like, we could either call you Becky Cruel or Becky Angel. And I was like, okay, Becky Cruel it is.
And was that DVD available internationally, or was it only sold in Japan?
This was only sold in Japan, and when I was looking, going down memory lane, finding all of this stuff, I saw that it had gone to number 8 in the Oricon charts, which I was told was quite a big deal. Like that was quite a good chart in Japan. So yeah, some people bought it in Japan, but it was never released internationally. So I know that like when more people found out about me in the West, they were like, how can I get my hands on all this stuff? And I was like, I don't know.
Were there a lot of kind of Caucasian girls becoming idols from around the world at that point, or was it rare?
They referred back to a couple of different like Japanese, talent in Japan at that time. So Maggie Bon is one that comes to mind. I don't know if that rings a bell for you. Yeah, the big eyes on the peace side. So that was kind of like a little bit of the blueprint of like, internet Western girls suddenly becoming popular in Japan. But no, it was quite, I think it was quite a unique thing at the time, yeah. Oh, these are lovely. So in these boxes, which are the boxes that I was given these in as well, I have 2 small dolls. So I will show you this one first, which is, this is a little doll of me. And someone made this by hand. I think it's like felt and fabric, and they've even recreated my little outfit that was in my video that went viral. It's so cool, and I believe that they also made instructions on how to make this doll as well and like post them online, and it's just like,
so sweet.
It's so sweet.
It must have taken them ages.
Yeah, it's so detailed and so intricate. It's like a little keychain, but I was like, it's too precious. I can't put this out into the wild. And then the other one that I have is another little doll, and this one is Hatsune Miku. For those that know. For those that don't, she's kind of like a virtual idol in Japan, and it's so difficult to explain all of this stuff, but basically the dance that I did, the Danjo dance, had a dance routine that was made by somebody who used a like 3D model of this character and had programmed like the character to do the dance, and then that was like, this is the dance, this is the Danjo dance. And so that's what I like learned it from and based my video from. And so she was very important in like the whole like Danjo sphere. And then so now I have like a little one of myself and a little one of Miku as well. They're both handmade.
Yeah, amazing.
They're incredible, yeah, so talented. I think nowadays it's like a little, like more people know who Miku is, but back in like 2009, 2010, she was quite early days. So we have so much AI voice software now, but back then it was like very, very new. And essentially, I think it's Yamaha or someone like that created this software called Vocaloid. And what you can do is, instead of singing, you can just type words in or lyrics in and then program it in, and it turns it into a song that's sang by a computer. But like, this was the best technology that we had like at the time kind of thing. So it sounded better than, Microsoft Sam or those original like voice synthesizers. Because it came from Japan, of course, there's this amazing backstory behind the synthesized voice. So, they drew these anime characters for all of the different artists, because it's to create music, right? So they became artists in themselves. Miku was the first one and the most popular one. And, nowadays, there are concerts where you go, there's like, thousands and thousands of people with light sticks. It's like an actual performance, but it's a hologram because there's no artist.
As a 15-year-old receiving these kind of gifts from people that you've never met, was it ever overwhelming?
Definitely, yeah. It's quite strange as well, because I think there's this like mental thing, right? When in normal life, where we're all normal people who haven't got an internet presence, people who give you a gift is maybe a family friend, relative, someone like that, and you will say, thank you. When you're receiving things online, people would give me something to get a interaction. Do you know what I mean? And that was maybe I'm overthinking it, but sometimes like that kind of dynamic was not great. So I think that side of things could be quite overwhelming, and it's like, I don't want to be rude.
The distinction between fanship and friendship, I guess.
Yeah, it's a really difficult kind of like line to balance, and it's something that I think is quite hard to navigate, especially for someone so young. So next I have some CDs, which feels very old school because surely we're all on Spotify now. These are compilation CDs that I had a song on each one. So this one has got my Danjo recording on it, and this one has a song which I collaboratively wrote with my manager at the time. So I wrote some of the lyrics to this one, and I was like, that's crazy. So they also have some of the songs on them which are on my DVD as well. So this was all kind of put together. I didn't know any of this was happening, and then sometimes I got given a CD and it's like, you're on that. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. Right. The interesting thing about the music side, I suppose, is that I was dancing on YouTube, I was not singing. And when I got to Japan, I was told that I must sing, which was something that I wasn't really that interested in or willing to do. But here we go, I've got 3 CDs with me singing on them. So what happened there, I can't really tell you.
So were you a good singer?
No, I wouldn't say so, no. I think it's quite shy, quite underconfident, never really had even been to like karaoke to give it a good belt or anything like that. So I was very scared, I think, because...
So did they do a lot of auto-tuning and post-fix?
I mean, I think they tried.
Right.
Yeah. The first time I ever sang in my life was in a booth. Like I was so scared I couldn't even practice by myself because like when you hear your own voice out loud, it like cringes you out. So yeah, and they had to just fed me the lines, and then the output is what's on these CDs. But I don't like to talk negatively too much about it because a lot of people really enjoyed it, and I got so many great comments, and it was a really fun experience. So like it's all right. It's like there's just like that other side of it, which is like if I had full autonomy at that time, I probably wouldn't have been releasing and recording songs, and it's not something that I do now, so like yeah.
And then the Cruel Angels.
Yes, so these were the first ones that came out. I think they came out like 2009. This one was 2010, and this was so much fun because this is a song called Tsubasa wo Kudasai. Fun facts, both myself and Susan Boyle have recorded this song at the same time in the same year. So rogue, I know. It's a beautiful song. It's like it's like a really famous like song in Japan, almost a little bit hymnal in the way that's originally sang. They were like, hold on a minute, we're gonna turn this into like a pop bop, and that's what they did. So these two girls, this is Sarah and this is Gemma, and we all were doing our J-pop dances online. And so we created Becky Cruel featuring the Cruel Angels, and yeah, we all came together in Japan. They arranged for us all to come together. We recorded a music video together. We recorded the songs. I'm still in touch with the girls somewhat as well, but Gemma is still active in Japan.
And were they both British as well?
Gemma was British and Sarah was French.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and she lived in France, yeah.
Oh, wow.
We all had all cute little outfits.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something that's so amazing. I had a PO box at the time, so people were able to send me things. It was kind of like a necessity because I had people sending things to my school, which was not good for like my social standing at school. So we were like, let's sort this out and have a direct channel. So I used to get a lot of letters in the mail, which was so amazing. And yeah, on my 15th birthday, I received this big box, and inside it is this laminated set of letters. And essentially what all of this is I didn't know this, but there was this website called Baidu, I think, which is a Chinese social media website. And they had a community on it, which was like fans of Becky. And they had this for a long time by that point. And all these people on this group, they were like, we all made friends with one another through your group. They decided to all like write me these amazing letters. Some of them drew it, some of them, like it must have been so difficult to organize this. And I know that like, anonymity and everything, like that's the logo there. It's like so important to like people on forums and that kind of thing. Like the fact that they were friends enough to come together to write all of these like incredible personal letters. And it's so sweet, like all the content inside it is like, I know that you're studying for your GCSEs at the moment. I'm studying as well, like keep working hard. It just like made my heart melt. It was just like such a thoughtful gift, and I was so touched to like be a tiny part of like these people's story of like how they became friends with each other as well. So yeah, I received a lot of letters at that time, but this is one that really stands out as just being something so amazing and so special.
So nicely made as well.
It's so lovely, like laminated, like like this is serious, and this is a drawing someone did. It's just so incredible.
So how long would you say your Japanese idol career lasted in total?
One of the last times that I went to Japan as part of like this chapter was like 2011. So maybe like a year and a half, 2 years. But to be honest, at that age, it felt like forever, But looking back, it was quite a relatively short period of time, I reckon. This whole experience led me on like the path that I'm on today. And I think it's been sometimes a little bit difficult to like figure out like, what's my direction next? Like I want to be quite humble, but it was in like worldwide media, like US, Japan, like UK, like it was quite big at the time. It felt really, really big. How do you overcome that feeling of like, well, I've just been like famous all over the world. How can my life possibly peak again after this, And I had that feeling of like, has my life peaked too soon when I was like 13? Like, what do I do now? So I think you really have to reframe your sense of satisfaction and fulfillment, and you don't need to do the same thing again. It happened, and it's like an amazing experience. I look back on it really fondly, and it's like taught me a lot.
Do you know any Japanese? Do you know how to say goodbye or anything?
Often we would just say bye-bye, which is pretty much the same as English. But for a more serious goodbye, it would be sayonara. Or we'd say Jane, which is like see you. So yeah, I picked up a couple little bits when I was out there, but definitely not fluent or anything like that.
Should we do a little Jane down the camera?
Jane, see you.